Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Women have a prime type and an open type. They have a prime type and an open type. Look, there's always talk about women and looks and, they're going for a guy's looks and all of that. Every single woman has a prime type. A prime type just means what she prefer. And that's not just his facial features, but his body type, his height, stuff like that. When you see these videos, women saying, oh yeah, I want him to be 6'8" and all of that, that's their prime type. Whatever you ask a woman, say, well, what's your type? Their prime type. Their prime type is, ultimately what they would go for. But see, here's the thing though. They don't see that on a consistent basis. Because if you listen to most women when they talk about their prime type, if you ask them, when's the last time you seen that guy? Or when's the last time you dated that guy? They probably haven't. That's their ideal. When I say prime type, I could also call it their ideal type. Their ideal type. He'll be a certain height, certain complexion, energy, and all of that. And if they actually run into him, they'll get wet. They will get wet. He got whatever. That's their prime. They be taking off their panties talking about, I won't be needing these, right? But they ain't gonna run into it all the time. But then they also have an open type. And an open type, it could just be a guy who just click with it. And the thing with the open type is, if you ask them what their open type is, they couldn't really tell you. They couldn't really tell you. They'll have their prime type. They can tell you that all day. And a lot of guys get confused with that. And a lot of guys, they have low self-esteem and they'll hear, well, they ain't a woman's prime type and everything and lose their mind. I'm going to tell you what, and you might not be. Because their prime type is damn near superhuman and all of that. You probably ain't. A lot of guys ain't. Now, does that mean you can't get that particular woman or a particular woman? No. Because the overwhelming majority of women that I've met, talked to, and I ain't just mean just in a romantic sense, just had a conversation with, have an open type. Now, the open type, that could be any guy. Like a woman, here's an example, right? A woman could tell you she wants some tall, muscular dude with long hair and everything, but then still have sex with some shorter dude who's about 30 pounds overweight, who is naturally bald. Not shaved his head bald, naturally bald and everything. They could say they want a guy with straight teeth, but then they've been having sex for years with a guy who got crooked teeth. The open type is just a guy she click with. That's the guy she click with anyway. They ain't her prime type, but she meet him and I don't know, he have a good conversation, or he might just be looking good that day. She not even thinking about his particular type, but then he has he's dressed nice, he sound good, he's smelling good, whatever. In fact, that's really what game is really trying to tell guys, how to be that open type, because that prime type is rare for a woman to meet. Think about it. Like let's use the height thing for example. Women be saying they want a guy 6'2", right? 6'2" and above. There's only 3% of men in the world who are at that height. A lot of women just ain't gonna meet him. And especially where they live and everything, they not gonna meet him. A lot of they could be wherever. They can be in some small hick town or something, or even in some big cities. They not gonna meet that ideal type who got everything they want. This isn't to say they don't want that guy. They still want him. But see, they're gonna meet a bunch of guys who ain't that. And see, that's the thing. And it might be some guy, and they'll still choose him. They might see him and they'll be like, oh, they ain't know it or something. I've met some women, I've met plenty of women. As much as I talk body game, They'll get with some guy got a little bit of weight on him or something, and he tore them up. That's an open type. An open type just mean they open to that particular type of man. See, women, one thing with women, contrary to popular belief, they open to different types of men. That's why you can get some women, you get some of these women out here who have babies by multiple men. And if you look at the men themselves, they don't even look the same. You know, one could be like a tall, big old brolic dude, right? And then the other one could be some like shorter, slimmer dude, whatever the case. And they both are open type. Neither one's like her prime type. In fact, sometimes, I'm gonna tell you how deep that prime type thing is. Women will pay for it. When you talk about gigolos and stuff, they paying for a prime type. They'll pay for it. That's how often they'll see that type of guy. They'll go on sex tourism vacations to meet that prime type, but they ain't gonna run into him most of the time. Now, if a guy isn't that, it don't mean it's over for you, even with that particular woman. Even with that particular woman. Now, she still gotta choose, she still gotta decide. But what do I always tell men? I was like, first of all, work out to develop your best body. You know, present your best. You know, figure out which haircut, which beard type, or even if you have a beard, figure out what works for you. Open type just means a woman will see you make a decision right there on the spot, whether or not she will be receptive, whether or not she's going to open the door. Even when a woman is choosing, all she's really doing is opening the door. She might see something she ain't seen before. You showing her something new. An open type could be that, you know? Or it could be a guy on the job. She ain't think much of him or anything, or whatever social circle. But all of a sudden, he's bringing stuff to the table, and she's like, oh. See, understand something with women. They really are open to multiple men, despite what they say. Yeah, they'll go on these videos and stuff, and they'll say, oh, he gotta be this or that. In my life, I can count on one hand, how many women I would honestly thought from what they were saying would stick with one man. And really only one woman, only one type. And even her, that's because I wasn't around her enough. I might have saw something different. Like you would get some women talking about, yeah, he gotta be this or that, but then they got 3 babies by a man don't look nothing like that. Look, you gotta think about that. They will always have that, the ideal, the prime, and then the guy who isn't that. That's where you come in at. Like you can't, as a man, you can't be like, oh, I ain't a prime type, it's over. Guys like that, no, you got low self-esteem. You got low self-esteem. All you can do as a man really is just be the best version, carry yourself, still have that confidence. Like I've talked a lot about short kings who out there doing it. Now, there's a lot of women who will say that, but then there's a lot of women, they'll run into that short king or whatever. In fact, I remember one time, I was still in school at American University and stuff, and I saw this woman is talking with her, and I was like, hey, come on outside, right? And I never forget what she said. She was like, you don't fuck, finance, or feed me. Why am I walking out here? I don't know, but you need to walk faster. I wasn't her prime type, but I was her open type, right? That's how you got to look at it. That's how you have to be, okay? And that's how you have to think. Like with these women, they'll say, they're going to say, every single woman I've met had a prime type, every single woman. But then they will hook up with an open type. And if you're not that prime type, and that's only a tiny percentage of men in the world going to be a group of women's prime type. All right? You can't worry about it. You can just be the best you can be and see which women that is still receptive to what you're bringing, okay? I want y'all to think about that. Anyway, that's all I have for right now. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.